Shelach Lecha anashim chulu, send for yourselves men. Ani ini mitzaveh. I'm not going to command you, ela l'daitecha, but rather it should be on your, according to your opinion. Lahavin inyan zeh, and to understand this idea, shebechol Eretz Yisrael lo tziva Hashem yizbarach lishloach meraglim, that Hashem did not command to send spies, lo b'Yericho shaisamanu l'shel Eretz Yisrael, rak b'Yericho, only into Yericho, with Yoshua. So with that, there was the spies still commanded by Yoshua to Yericho shaisamanu l'shel Eretz Yisrael, that was the lock into the land of Israel, kamoshikos of Yericho sugereschulu, that Yericho was the one that closed everything else. Yericho was closed. And in the city of Yericho, from all 70 nations, there were people living, like it says, the Chiti and the Amor and so forth, in Yericho. Called Bala Yericho, all the people of Yericho, Shiniskalaluba, Shahaisa, Glolus, Eretz Yisrael, that were all included in it, that Yericho was the general concept of the whole land of Israel. And to understand this idea, Yisrael, how Yericho is found in the entire land of Israel, Shabibechinas Yericho, Shalot Tzarich Meraglim, that in the concept of Yericho, you need the spies. And the rest of the land of Israel, you do not need spies. That is to say, that certainly now, spiritually, the giving of the land of Israel is still there. Even if the land is not in our hands now, nonetheless, the spiritual land of Israel is still given above. L'kol Yisrael, to all of Israel. And the proof on this is brought in another place in the Siddur, in the Mamar, about the blessing after the meal. About this, that we've established that the blessing over the land is obligatory from the Torah. Also now, and this blessing is on the land that you've inherited to us, and so forth. If that's so, that the land is also connected to every single Jew spiritually, even now. You have all the different concepts of the land of Israel. That is the concept of the city of Yericho, Shimanula Shelatz Yisrael, Haruchnius, which is the spiritual seal and lock of the land of Israel. That if you have a lock on a door, so that's the lock. Haruchnius, the spiritual. So spiritually you have this Yericho as well. Shalamayla Mishar Eretz Yisrael, that's higher than all the rest of the land of Israel. And in the spiritual Yericho, you have to also send spies, which is not the case with the rest of the land of Israel spiritually. Now it's written that Avraham was old, coming in days. That is to say, that he clothed himself in his days. That the days are the garments, anit and laneshama, which is given to the soul. And each person is given the years of their life according to what's needed in their garments. So each day is like a garment, so you have a number of days according to the number of garments. That is to say that the days are formed. That is through the Torah mitzvahs that a person involves themselves with. And every day that a person nullifies their Torah mitzvahs, they don't do what they're supposed to, so they're missing that garment according to what they're lacking, according to what they didn't do. And to understand this concept of garments, and why does the soul need garments? That it shouldn't be naked. Why does it need it? So why is it written in the Torah as well that we should know it? And the concept is now that we say every single day the Kedusha that will sanctify you, and at first glance it's a wonder that we say this about Hashem. Hashem is holy on his own. So how do we say that we sanctify him? Also, why do we say holy 3 times in this specific number? But the concept is on the verse, lift up your hands and bless and so forth by the Birchas Kohanim. There's this concept of the word Kodesh without a Vav, B'chinas Kadosh B'Vav. And there's a concept of the word Kadosh with a Vav, Kodesh hu Lashon Havdalah. So what is this word? It means holy means removed. Shuiz Baruch Movdal, that is high and removed. B'chinas Ein Aruch Lecha, in the concept of this, that there's no one comparable to you. V'kamosh Shekasu Lo Shanisi. Like it says that I am Hashem, I haven't changed. And I am as before the world was created, and after the world was created, exactly the same, without any change. That the creation didn't cause a change in Hashem. That's Kodesh, removed from creation to the point where it doesn't affect him at all. And the second kind of Kodesh is Kodesh with a Vav, holy with a Vav, who Amshach, means of Baruch Hu, so that's drawing down from the infinite, maybe blessed Liyosoviv Kolam, to be encompassing creation. Ki Vav more al Hamshacha, because the Vav hints to this idea of drawing down. Mikol Mak Umugam, King Kodesh removed, nonetheless he's still holy and removed. Shizeu Perish Sovev, that's the idea of encompassing, still encompassing creation, still holy. And removed, and it's not like the soul that's enclosed in the body, and is affected by the happenings of the body. And therefore you have, we say 3 times holy, corresponding with the 3 worlds of B'riyat, Yitzir, Nasiya, Shin, Bechiras, Machshava, Dibron, Ma'aseh, Brasiv, Yitzarti, Vafasisiv, which are the concept of thought, speech, and action. That I created it, I formed it, I even made it, I did it. So these are the 3 times holy. So Kadosh then is to draw down from one level to another. You're drawing down from beyond to have an encompassing concept and to the world below. And on this we say, let us sanctify you, lahamshich, Bechinas Kadosh, to draw down the concept of Kadosh. So Nakdishach, we're not saying Hashem, we're going to make Hashem holy, that it doesn't have it before. Rather, we're saying we're going to have the concept of Kadosh. The concept of Kadosh is to draw it down. And that's the concept of 3 encompassing lights, 3 soveves, to the 3 worlds, the 3 general worlds of B'riyat, Yitzir, and Asiyah. And we're drawing it down from the source which is the Kodesh, without the Vav, the holy and removed beyond creation. And that's the idea of lift up your hands to the holy, and from there draw down the concept of the name of Hashem. Therefore it's called The Holy One, blessed be He, shebechinas kadosh bevav ubaruch v'nimshach mebechinas kodesh. The concept of kadosh with a vav is drawn down from kodesh without the vav. That's why it's called Hakadosh Baruch Hu, because he is drawn down, maybe blessed, and he's drawn down and blessed. Now, just like you have in the worlds, these three concepts of the worlds of Bria and Yitzira and Asiya, Kach Yesh B'Nefesh, Gimel Bechinos Nefesh Ruach Neshama, you also have in the soul three concepts of thought, speech, and act, the Nefesh, the Ruach, and the Neshama, three levels of the soul, Shin Gamkin Bechinas Machshava Dibura Maisa, that these three levels of the soul also correspond with thought, speech, and action. The neshama, the thought, and the ruach, the speech, and the nefesh, the action. Because the neshama corresponds with the mind. It rests in the mind, in the brain. That's where thought is. And the spirit and the wind is in the heart. That's where speech comes from. From the breath in the heart, and that's the idea that the spirit of Hashem, the wind of Hashem, spoke in me. Therefore, if that corresponds with the concept of 3 times kadosh, so you can also draw down the concept of makif to these 3 levels of nefesh, ruach, and neshama, lahakif, lahalbish, and neshama, to encompass and clothe the neshama. And that's to fulfilling the mitzvahs on these 3 levels of thought, speech, and action. Now the Torah was given to us in 3 things. That is in these 3 levels of thought, speech, and action. That there's a number of mitzvahs that are dependent only on speech. And then there's a number of mitzvahs that are dependent upon thought alone. As well with speech and action. And there's a number of mitzvahs that are dependent upon action alone. Now a person might make the mistake to think that the type of divine revelation that's revealed in action is not the same type of revelation that's revealed in speech or thought. That the action is thickened and physicalized. Yoser gam bebechinas domim. Further, also in the concept of the inanimate, kmo kesef and nechoshes, mamaisad, stuck also in the fact that it involves the inanimate, like silver or copper. When one gives a coin to charity and so forth, one's giving involves the inanimate, which would not be the case with like tefillin. At least that's the concept of chaya. Or if you use a plant or something like wool, like a linen tzitzis or whatever. So, but the truth is, it's not like that. Ki hakol shave etzlo yizbarech, because it's all equal in front of Hashem. All these 3 levels of thought, speech, and action. Ki kol hakamei kol chashiv kol, it's all incomparable to Him. Vein hefesh etzlo bein elyonim l'sachtonim, and there's no difference. The higher in the higher levels and the lower levels in comparison to Him. Kivin shakol ka'ayin negdo, since everything is as if it's not in front of Him. Ki hu yizbarech ein sof vein aroch elav yizbarech, because in comparison to Him there's no end, and it's incomparable to maybe blessed. V'zeu masha omim v'akadosh b'shamayim u'v'aretz, and this is what we say, that He's holy on the heavens and the earth. Kolomar, that is to say, shebechinas shamayim u'bechinas aretz shave etzlo, that the concept of the heavens and the concept of the earth are equal to Him. That's HaKadosh Pashamayim Uva'aretz, that He's holy, removed both from the heavens and the earth, or He's drawn down both into the heavens and the earth in an encompassing way equally. Ki hu kadosh u'muvdal mehem, because he's holy and removed from them. Af shu mechayes kulam, even though he's enlivening them, u'mehaves kulam, and creating them all. Achayes hu bebichinas rotzav v'shovchulu, the life force is in a way of going upwards and coming back down. The life is beyond the creations that it's affecting. Because this life force is only a glimmer in comparison to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, it goes upwards to go back up to its source, and then it spreads out again, and then it goes back up in a cycle. Now, this life force that's drawn from Hashem's holiness, Israel. How does this happen? This happens through Israel, who is like your nation Israel, one nation in the earth. That is to say, on the earth. We should also draw down the concept of Echad on the earth through Israel. Who is like your nation Israel, the Goy, the nation Echad ba'aretz, that draws down the Echad to the arts. And therefore we say 3 times Kadosh, 3 times holy, to draw down Hashem's removed state, the holiness. To draw down into the thought, speech, and the action, to have an encompassing light over the neshama, nefesh, ruach, neshama, that in all of these levels you have an encompassing light drawn to them, that is through the involvement in Torah and mitzvahs in 3 concepts, shehem bechinas levush in lahaneshama, that these are garments to the soul, shetucha lehenos mziva shechina, that this enables the soul to have a divine pleasure, a pleasure in the divine radiance, a shechina of the divine presence, that is to be included in one ko'echad ba'aretz. Which is not the case when the soul is, so to speak, naked, bli levush, without a garment. It is not able to be included in one, in the unity, in the oneness, since it is a created entity. That and every created entity is by definition an existence that and will therefore go out of existence. And is very far away from the concept of supernal unity and an infinite existence. And therefore, this created entity needs some kind of garment, lilbosh, to wear. That is the thought, speech, and action in Torah and mitzvos, that these are the garments that enclose this soul, makifi mosa mirosha ad ragla, and encompass it from head to toe. And they're drawn from this concept of Hashem Echad. These garments, and through this the neshamos of Israel can also be included in the concept of Hashem Echad. This is the idea that Abigail told David, that the soul of my master will be included in the bundle of life of Hashem. Just like a person puts their money in a place to hold it, so too your soul should be tied in the tie of life. That is, that it should have a garment, be surrounded by something with suror hachayim, in the bundle of life, likal be'echad es Hashem, to be included with Hashem's unity. So that's the surah b'surah hachayim, means you should have a garment to be included in the unity. Now he brings as a side note the concept of, in the parentheses, there's an explanation in the verse, and now Hashem you should greaten by Moshe Rabbeinu and the source of these three garments to the three levels of the soul, Shem Bechinas Gimel Pamim Kadosh, which correspond with the three levels of Kadosh, and is because from the Malchus of Atzilus Nimshach Gimel Makifin Gimel Olmos comes three encompassing lights to the three worlds, Bria Yitzira Asiya, Dainu Malchus Atzilus Nasis Atik Labria. So you have these Lamed Kelim of Malchus of Atzilus that he might be hinting to here. That you have these Malchus of Atzilus becomes an encompassing light to the three lower worlds. That the Malchus of Atzilus becomes Atik to the world of Bria, Sheperish Atik, Loshen Shinetak Venivdol, that the concept of Atik is this idea of Kadosh, or Kodesh, that it's removed and beyond the world. So the Atik of the world is the Makif for the world. So you draw down an encompassing concept to the world below, that's Malchus, which becomes Atik. Like it says that he's exalted from the world, the days of the world. That is like the statement that he's not from all these attributes at all. The state that's beyond attributes, the concept of Atik. So you have this concept of the rock of our shelter, the shield of our saving, the shelter upon us. So you have these three levels. So the three levels of shelter and covering are like the three makifim, sur, umaginu, miskav. So you have these three concepts of the rock and the shield and the shelter. And gimel makifim anal. So these three kinds of covering correspond with the three types of encompassing light, atik yomin de bria, atik yomin de yitzira, atik yomin de asiya, which are the three levels of atik of bria, and atik of yitzira, and atik of asiya. And you have this concept. One of them is called, the highest level, I guess, is called the rock, that just like you can go under a rock to hide from, to be protected from the rains, and it protects you. So you have this encompassing idea that just like in the creation of the worlds, you have these three encompassing concepts from the Malchus of Atzilus. So too you have in the worlds of Bria, Yitzir, and Asiya of Atzilus, and Abba ve'Ima. That so in Atzilus itself you have this as well, that the Bria of Atzilus is the mother and the father, the Chacham and the Bina, the Chagas, Yitzira, and the emotional attributes of Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes corresponds with the world of Yitzira, V'nehi Asiya. And the lower spheros of Netzach Yisod correspond with Asiya of Atzilus. So from above, beyond Atzilus, you have the concept of the three encompassing lights that surround these levels of the world of Atzilus itself. And this comes from Malchus of Ein Sof, Shenikra Malchus, the Ak, which is called the Malchus of Adam Kadmon, Shenasa Atik de Atzilus Chulo, which that level of Ak becomes the Atik of Atzilus. Just like the Malchus of Atzilus becomes Atik to below. And corresponding with this, you have three levels in the mitzvahs. You have mitzvahs that are dependent upon thought. You should love Hashem and contemplate until you feel the love. And there's mitzvahs in speech. And there's also mitzvahs in action. That from this you have the concept of garments to the three levels of the soul of Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Adam Hanimshach, Mibriya, Yitzir, and Asiya, which come from the three levels or correspond to the three worlds of Bria, Yitzira, and Asiya, Mibiad, Atzilus, or from the three worlds as they are in Atzilus, like the souls of the Nevi'im, that their neshamas come from the world of Atzilus. And this is what it says by Avraham, that he came in days, with these garments of the world of Atzilus, and this is the concept of the bundle of life, that these encompassing lights enclose and cover over the nefesh ruach neshama and elevate them to the level of holy, to draw the holy down into them, or elevate them up towards the kodesh without a vav. And look in that Mamar about this idea.